everyone!
Hiya.
So it's a very exciting vlog this week because we are at the baby show in London, at London's Excel. We have been invited here to come and chat with Dr. Harvey Karp. Now, I feel like we have been given the keys to the kingdom, the sleep kingdom. For those of you that don't know who Dr. Harvey Karp is, he is a paediatrician. He's also the best-selling author of The Happiest Baby on the Block, which has sold millions of copies worldwide. And he is also the inventor of the Snoo. The Snoo!
We love the Snoo!
The Snoo, the robo-cot, the self-rocking robo-cot that is literally giving parents all over the world more sleep at night.
And more safety.
We used the Snoo with Rupert when he was born and he absolutely loved it. We love it. But those of you that have watched some of our previous videos will know that sleep hasn't always come easily to Rupert. So I'm very, very excited to speak to Dr. Karp today.
His brain.
He's a total expert on the subject, has spent decades working with parents, mums, dads, caregivers, helping them sort of settle their babies and get a better night's sleep. So we're off to chat with him and then have a look at the rest of the show, I think.
Yeah, go see some companies.
That's a bit of me, that.
That's a bit of you.
Oh, Jamie's just been sick everywhere. So Dr. Harvey, thank you so much for chatting with
Megan.
us.
I'm excited that you're here.
Yeah, so we used the Snoo for the first few months of Rupert's life.
Brilliant.
And absolutely loved it. But for those people watching who don't know anything about the Snoo, can we just start with you just telling us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so all of this is based on a book and a video called Happiest Baby on the Block, which has kind of a weird idea, which is babies need a fourth trimester. They need, because you know when a baby is born, they want to be held and rocked. So the first 4 or 5 months, you are one big walking uterus holding and rocking your baby. But then what do you do at night? Inside, when the baby is inside, you're holding your baby 24 hours a day. Every time you breathe, you're rocking your baby, your diaphragm is, and the sound is a the rumble of the blood flow 24/7. And they're bundled up in a little bundle, never flat on their back. Then they're born, and we take everything away from them. We take away the sound and the motion. And we think that a quiet, dark room with the baby on the back, of course the back is the safest position, but they're missing the rhythms of the womb. That's why they love to be held and rocked. So this cot, Snoo, gives them the rhythms of the womb, the sound and the motion, and it gives them snug swaddling that's safe because they cannot roll over. It's secured in the bed. But what's even more fun is that the bed responds to the baby. So when the baby is upset in your arms, you'll naturally bounce the baby more or shush the baby louder. But when you're asleep, the bed will do that for you. When you're cooking dinner, when you're taking a shower, when you're with your 3-year-old, when you're trying to take a nap, when you're on a Zoom call, the Snoo is an extra pair of hands for you. So we don't think of this really as a cot. We really think of it as a 24-hour caregiver. And the reason I say that is because the cost of this is about £1,000, which people go, oh my God, that's a very expensive cot. But it's a very inexpensive 24-hour caregiver. Honestly, if you were to hire a 16-year-old to hold your baby 1 hour a day, you'd pay £15 for that.
Yeah.
And this really, for purchase, is about £7 a day. And if you use it with your second child, it's £3 a day, which is essentially a coffee. And you can have a 24-hour caregiver and insurance that your baby will be safer. We're going to start rentals in the EU later this summer, and then UK will be coming down the road.
Amazing.
So what people do here who are on a budget, though, they'll sometimes go in with their friend and buy it together, or they sell it when they're done with it because it has a very high resale value. Literally, it ends up costing about £3 a day, which again is not affordable for everyone. But to have a 24-hour caregiver is a pretty good value, I would say.
Yeah, because you mentioned in an interview a couple of years ago about this sort of the whole caregiver role and how many years ago we had maybe aunts and grandmothers and all of these extra people around to sort of offer that level of support that a lot of parents just don't have now.
That's exactly right. So there's a big lie when you have a baby, and that lie is that the normal family is 2 parents and a child.
Yeah.
That's completely abnormal. The nuclear family never existed before 100 years ago. Everyone had extended families, and you didn't even hold your own baby. Your sister held the baby, your older daughter held your baby, your next door neighbors, you were just cooking and cleaning,
exactly.
and everyone else took care of the baby. Now you're cooking and cleaning and working and taking care of the baby and helping your parents and doing all of those things. And people think I shouldn't have help. Not everyone can afford a nanny, of course. But you deserve that help. And so Snoo, more than a cot, is really your older sister moving in saying, Megan, go to sleep. I'm going to hold and rock this baby all night. And I don't know if this was your experience, but many times people wake up in the morning and they look at their app and they go, honey, did you know the baby woke up last night? I didn't even hear it because the bed responded and put the baby to sleep so quickly. You were staying in deep sleep.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about sort of the technology side to the Snoo, because we're massive on our technology. We absolutely love it. And having the app and being able to wake up the next day and see exactly how well Rupert slept was such a huge help to us. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the app and what parents can expect from that?
Of course. So this has a Wi-Fi unit in it that will send out a message on how the baby is sleeping, and you'll get that on your app. You can turn the Wi-Fi off if you want to, but most people really appreciate getting that readout every day. And not just day by day, but you can watch week by week how your child is progressing. You can share that with your healthcare provider or with your family or with Instagram. And it's very reassuring to be able to see how your baby is progressing. But the app also allows you to change settings. Babies go through growth spurts or colds. Sometimes they need a little bit more motion and sound. Some babies don't like the faster motion and sound, and you can lock it on a lower level. So it gives you that variability. And most importantly, at 6 months, when the baby is ready to wean, it gives you a weaning setting, so you can very gradually transition out of it.
We used that, and it worked a treat. Definitely did. It was
there
brilliant.
you go. Because people worry, will my baby get addicted to the motion and sound? Your baby is born addicted to motion and sound because they had that 24/7.
Yeah.
So they're not ready to sleep without motion and sound. But by 6 months, they are ready. And then the weaning is a very easy process.
And looking around, it appears as though the Snoo is not the only amazing product that you've got available to people. So what else have you got here today?
Well, one of the things we love so much is Snoo Bear. And what this is a little teddy bear that has the Snoo sound in it.
Oh, wow.
So when the baby is not in the bed but is crying as you're changing a diaper, or when you're feeding the baby, or when you're out with the pram, the sounds can be traveling with you. Because when the baby hears these specific sounds, it reminds them of being in the bed, and it's very easier to calm them. But we have our swaddles are rated, the New York Times rated these the best swaddles in America, and now we have loungewear for mothers, and we have special breastfeeding and pregnancy dresses. So this is quite a beautiful dress because you can use it for formal wear. And you can use it for everyday wear. And then this lifts up for discreet breastfeeding as well. So it's very versatile for the babies.
Now, while I've got you, I have to ask you some more general questions about baby sleep, because I think it must be the number one thing that people want to know about. You know, parents are exhausted, and it always baffles me as to why they are so. I was exhausted as well for the first 4 months. Are there any sort of common mistakes that you find parents are doing that we could maybe just combat straight away? What are your number one tips that you can give to parents who are struggling a little bit?
Well, I mean, it's normal to be exhausted because you're doing the job of 5 people.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you're exhausted. That's normal.
Yeah.
We're just hoping to give an extra hour or 2 of sleep, which of course, anyone who doesn't have a Snoo can give their baby an extra hour or 2 of sleep easily. All they have to do is drive them all night in the car, and they'll sleep in the back. Of course, you won't sleep, but the baby will. What Snoo does is give them that experience of being driven all night while you keep your head on the pillow. But if you don't have a Snoo, you can use swaddling, you can use white noise, and that helps partially to simulate the experience in the womb. Of course, people say to sleep when your baby sleeps. easier said than done.
Oh, that was, honestly, that was one of the questions that I'd written down. Everyone gives that advice, and in reality, it is so difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Are there any other sort of alternative pieces of advice that you can give parents?
The big thing is to ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't be so independent. This is the time when people should bring food, come over and help clean, hold the baby for an hour. Don't be so proud that you can't ask for help, and then you'll pay the favor back later on. I think that's the biggest thing you can do to support yourself. And people feel good when they give to you. They feel good when they're able to provide a service and know that they really made a substantial difference in your life. Of course, with COVID, it's been very hard to do that. But now that things are loosening up, hopefully we can provide more help for babies.
Because you've also done a lot of work around sort of the relationship between sleep, or maybe lack of sleep, and postpartum depression, which is a subject that I'm quite fascinated by. So can you just tell us a little bit more about that and just how important sleep is for new mums and new parents?
Yes, postnatal depression now affects 20 to 30% of all new mothers and many new fathers as well. And the number one trigger for that is having a baby, of course. But why? It's because you're sleep deprived, you're exhausted, you feel overwhelmed, unsupported, anxious about caring for this fragile little being. And so with Snoo, we improve sleep, we reduce anxiety, we give you more support and control. So we're doing studies now. Actually, we just finished a study at University of Colorado in the States showing that we can substantially prevent postnatal depression before it occurs. We want to reduce car accidents. We want to reduce obesity, because if you're sleep deprived, you're overeating and you're not exercising. Illnesses, stress injuries, marital stress, all of those things happen as a result of sleep deprivation. And so in the United States now, many employers give this as a benefit, the rental bed, to be able to improve work-life balance and demonstrate how much they care about their families. And now, starting in the UK, employers are also starting to give this to their employees, American companies initially.
That's amazing.
And we're starting rentals in the EU, and hopefully within another year or so we'll bring rentals to the UK as well.
Amazing. And a few of the sort of quick fire questions. Should you ever wake a sleeping baby?
You should always wake a sleeping baby.
Really? Why?
I know everyone is turning off the channel right now.
I do wake him, and a few people are, why are you waking him?
Well,
What's
I mean,
the point?
the goal is you want children to learn to be self-sufficient. And so once they're very, very sleepy, you don't put a baby who's awake down like that. I mean, they're not going to fall asleep. But once they're lulling to sleep in your arms and they fall asleep, then when you put them down, you wake them up a little bit. You have the white noise playing, they're swaddled.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to just jiggle them a little bit more to fall asleep. But in that 10 seconds, with their eyes open in that reverie, they're learning to put themselves to sleep, to have the capabilities of doing that. So, of course, if you wake the baby and then they cry and cry, you should pick the baby up and calm the baby again. And
can you quickly tell us the 5 S's that you're so famous for?
So the Happiest Baby on the Block goes over this concept that babies need a 4th trimester of holding and rocking, that fetuses are born, but they can't smile yet, they can't sit up, they're not ready for the world. So our job is to hold them and rock them and care for them. And there are 5 ways we imitate the womb experience, called the 5 S's. Swaddling, the side or stomach position, never for sleep, only the back for sleep, but the side or stomach for calming crying. Shushing, swinging, and sucking. And we made a video called the Happiest Baby on the Block video, which anyone can see on our website, thehappiestbaby.com, so that you can learn these techniques. Because actually, I have to say, in general, men who are terrible at breastfeeding are quite good at baby calming once they learn the 5 S's. And then they can be really good supportive partners for their spouses.
And one final question, because I know you're a very busy man, you've got lots of people to speak to today. It's a personal question for me. How do I combat early waking? Because Rupert wakes up at 4:30 every morning, and I can give him a quick feed, he might go back down for another 45 minutes, and that's it. He's ready to start the day. Can you give me any advice?
I'm so sorry, we don't have any more time to continue this, but it's been a lovely
Please.
In general, if babies are ready to wake up for the day, it means they're probably going to bed a little bit too early.
Okay.
So shift the bedtime just 15 or 20 minutes and see, that's one way of doing it. The other way, when is his last feeding?
Just before bed, so around 6:15.
Right, so you can wake him up for a dream feed at about 11 or
Yeah, so he feeds at 11.
Yeah.
And then he'll sleep until, bang on 4:30.
Right.
And it's those weird hours in the morning that...
So he's going to bed, it's perfectly fine, but by going to bed at 6:30, he's never going to sleep longer than that. So you have to shift his bedtime a little bit later.
Yeah, okay.
That'll be the best way to do it.
Let's give that a go, Jamie. Let's give that a go.
And then the last thing I want to tell you, which you may or may not know about, which is at 8 months, starts the period of the happiest toddler on the block.
Oh, amazing.
And that does the trick for kids 8 months to 5 or 6 years of age. Completely different approach, but you're able to avoid temper tantrums, teach children to be more patient and cooperative and more emotionally resilient. And so that's the next chapter for you.
Can't wait for that. Well, we will put links to all of your products and your books in our description section at the bottom of this video. But thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
It's been really, really great chatting to you.
A pleasure.
So, all the best.
Cheers.
This is great. There's so much here. And it's just good to talk to people. And, being honest, we've got most things that we need for Rupert. So we're not necessarily here to buy lots of things. But if you're a new parent, a lot of the stands have really good discounts. So there's a stand, Oh Baby. We were looking at their cot beds. Oh, it's like I planned it. I didn't. Their cot bed is the one that we really wanted, but they'd sold out. Whereas here you can order it, and it's currently at 20% off. So you'd save a lot of money.
What have you got there? What freebie is it?
Oh, Snoo kindly gave us one of their bears, the Snoo bear. Rupert is not happy. Well, he's fine, but he just hasn't slept all day because he's been very distracted. I can't get it out.
We'll get it out when we're
It's all
at home.
tied in, yeah.
I want to find a travel pram.
The other thing we need is a travel cot.
I'm pretty sure Cybex had a travel one. But why would we want to take a travel pram when we can't use the skis?
I know, we really need to get this on the flight somehow.
Get the skis on that.
Right, so we don't need prams,
Don't need prams, okay.
carry on this way. Okay, so I can't believe I really just discovered this, but I'll have to get it out. It's all packed away. I'll put a quick overlay now.
What is it?
It's the spray and the wipes. Oh, Vital Baby, that's what it's called. Vital Baby. And it's
What, is it here?
There's other companies that do the same thing.
Oh, I see.
But it's hand sanitizer, hand wipes that's edible, so Rupert, I can just spray it on Rupert's hands, and then if he puts them in his mouth, he's fine.
Megan said he's asleep. Hopefully he can get asleep and then we can go for a little walk. Look at these are cool. Megan's been looking for this. A bit of active wear that you can get your breasts out to do the feeding. For when we go skiing.
So I started off coming to get a sports bra, and I'm leaving with a sports bra, a bamboo top and a hoodie.
And we've changed the colours multiple times.
So soft.
They look great. If anyone's looking for them,
Natal Active.
sorry about all the movement, we're trying something new. We're on the gimbal.
Because they're so lovely. We have the grey one,
Oh, we do, yeah.
which he loves.
It's been a long day for you, hasn't it?
It's been a long day for all of us.
Been a bit of a struggle. I think we should just recap the day.
Let's interview Rupert.
Oh, can you see him?
How have you found the day, Ru? Just eat it.
We had an early morning wake up, then we are going skiing in a few weeks' time, and we haven't got a passport yet for Rupert. So this morning we had to go to... Are you looking at it? You are, aren't you? To the passport office. Oh, that was stressful in itself. Victoria in the middle of London, and then travel across to East London where we are at the moment. We forgot how far it is. I didn't tell Megan, actually.
So Jamie didn't tell me because he knew that I would say no to the whole day. I just find travelling with Rupert quite a chore. We took a train and, 4 tubes?
Train. We realised how hard it is to travel with a baby, like with a pram. The London Underground, the amount of lifts, I think I worked out we took 8 or 9 lifts today.
At one station? 6 at one station?
Yeah, 6 at one station.
6 at Victoria.
Going up and
just
down,
to get
going
down
up
to
and
the
down.
platform. So, yeah, it's really opened our eyes to people who actually live with disabilities,
Yeah.
who need to get around, just how difficult it is.
I
Really, really
don't think I
hard.
would bother coming into London.
It's very hard. Hello.
So anyway, we've had a great day here at the baby show.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. I was just saying, you could probably come here and buy everything you need.
Yeah,
for your
and I
baby.
mentioned it earlier, but everything's discounted.
Good
Because
discounts.
it's like a special event, they've put loads of discounts. We didn't treat Rupert today though, I just treated myself.
Yeah, Megan's got some really good stuff. You'll see that. You love this, don't you? Maybe you'll be a presenter.
You get, yeah.
No, you can't eat it. You can't eat it. Anyway.
No, it has been great. And Dr. Harvey was amazing. So I sent out a message on Instagram asking if there were any questions that you wanted me to ask Dr. Harvey. So if we didn't get round to them because I didn't give you much notice, so apologies. We did carry on the conversation for quite a while after we stopped.
Yeah.
We carried on recording.
I think I wasn't pointing the camera in the right direction. So
Yeah.
there might be the audio, but can you
It's-
just answer them now? What he said?
Well, there were just a few things. Like I was saying, I'd love to wean Rupert off his dummy now because it's been 6 months
yeah.
and I just don't want him to become too attached.
He said
And
you
was
can do it if you want.
He was actually
but-
like, if you want to, you can, but you really don't need to. He's like, you can wean them at any point. You just got to go for it. So I was a bit like, oh, okay.
Can you see yourself?
Dig, 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 dig,
Anyway, I
dig,
think
dig,
we're
dig,
probably
dig.
going to head off soon so we don't get caught in the London rush hour on the
You
Underground.
don't want that on a Friday.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you absolutely love it. Go on then.
Okay, do you want to sign off for us then?
That was him saying like, subscribe,
And we'll see you
and
next
we'll see you in the
week.
next video.
Bye.
Bye.